What's going on, Raider Nation? Well, we're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders, and what a day of football. We are back, baby. There's been a lot of blowouts as we speak. We have the Cowboys kicking the Giants' ass. You had Steelers getting their ass kicked. You had the Chiefs losing Thursday night. You had a shootout with the Chargers and Miami. The Chargers falling. So what does that kind of mean with the rival game between the Raiders and the Broncos? Sean Payton's new Broncos. That means we are number one. We are number one right now. We are number one. I think we've had a good start before. Remember the crazy Ravens and Raiders game that we had? And we were on a roll, and then it kind of went downhill with all the drama and stuff. We started this year with some drama, especially with Chandler Jones. A lot of us Raider fans do not agree with a lot of, Josh McDaniels. We hate this guy. If you are a Raider fan, you do not like this coach. But the feelings aside, we are always looking forward to the season because there's always potential to maybe do something. It's been a very, very long time since the Raiders were good. I thought we usually have the Broncos number though, but this was going to be a little bit different with, Sean Payton taking over the Broncos. You have a lot of moves being made on the defensive side and the offense, I guess you could say. Especially, with both sides of the ball. You see changes. We don't have Derek Carr no more. We now have Jimmy Garoppolo. We have brought a lot of the Patriots way over to the Raiders, which I am not a fan of. But one of the moves I really, really did love, because I saw this guy last year, and I'm like, in that Mac Jones and Bill Belichick offense, and seeing him come over to the dark side. Jakobi Meyers was one of the key elements of our Raider win today. And I thought it would I was hoping that Hunter Renfrow would be more involved, and we'll talk about him more in a little bit. But Jakobi Meyers, coming from having 2 touchdowns, about 80 yards, takes a massive hit at the end of the game, but holds on to the ball. It looked like he got knocked out. This is the kind of play I haven't seen since Zach Miller, and when he held on to the ball and he got hit really, really hard and almost got knocked out as well. But Jakobi Meyers, hopefully he's doing okay. I'm assuming it might be a concussion protocol thing. He probably is concussed. I haven't read anything about his injury just yet, but it was definitely a scary hit. He was definitely one of the biggest elements that why we won today, because if you watch the game, I was able to listen to the game, the first half of the game, because I wasn't able to watch it on my phone. I was working at the time as well. But I was listening to the game. Of course, I was on the YouTube channel of Raiders Report with Mitch. Shout outs to that channel. I was able to, it's great to have his channel there. When I can't watch the game, I'll kind of listen to him. It's kind of a radio, old school kind of thing, golden age baseball. You listen to the radio. To me, Mitch is the guy I listen to if I can't get the game on streaming. Even though I fear for that guy's liver, and sometimes it gets obnoxious. But shout outs to them. I still do enjoy their content, and for them to go play by play, so to speak. So I was able to listen to it and then go back and watch the highlights and go back to watch some of the parts of the game. But I did catch the second half at my friend's house. And what I've noticed, it's definitely a mixed bag. It's definitely a mixed bag in this game. It's definitely, the defense is not there still. It's still, nothing has, they could get better. And the teams in general in the NFL, players, like we'll talk about Tyree Wilson, could definitely get better as the season goes along. This is just the first game. But what I'm seeing with the Raiders is, we will not go anywhere unless our defense is not even in top. They just have to be in the top 15. We can go somewhere, but they're never there. They're always in the 20s. They're always 32nd. Like, they're one of the worst defense, even though we have one of the best players on the team, Max Crosby. He did some work today. He did get a sack. I think he did more towards the very end of the game, but You know, Mad Max is going to give you 100%. His motor's going to keep going. He just needs help. The coverage is still really, really bad. There's a lot. I could tell that the tight ends are still giving us problems. There's still costly penalties, not only on the defensive side, but the offensive side. But we're going to talk about defense right now. And defense, there's not the pressure that we want. Max Crosby cannot do it all alone. And if you say Chandler Jones, well, if Chandler Jones didn't play, and Tyree Wilson didn't play as much in the game, if Chandler Jones was there, it'd be a difference maker. He does make a difference, but we saw him in how much a lack of basically a lack of things on the field last year with him. I just can't see him doing anything better this season. But he is. I mean, we paid him all this money. He's not there. What can we say? Even if he was there or not there, he's not there. The biggest problem with the Raiders is still the coverage. The coverage game. Moehrig is getting beat. He's a player I really wanted him to succeed with the Raiders, but he is getting beat. At one point they thought he was benched, but he wasn't. He was dealing with an injury. You had Teamer in there, then you had Moehrig back in there, but he did do a couple good plays towards the end of the game, but the guy needs to get better. Marcus Peters, he's a vet. He's doing what he has to do, but there's just, once again, just costly penalties. One of the biggest penalties was we could have got a fumble recovery from Russell Wilson, but then that was negated. It was the also running into the kicker, like bone-headed stuff that the Raiders love to absolutely do. What I've noticed with Tyree Wilson is he's going to progress. He's a rookie. It's not like it's just like that. Some people get it from the get-go and some people don't. And remember, he was dealing with an injury in preseason as well, so he didn't get a lot of reps in the preseason games and stuff, so he's kind of really getting into the groove now. So Tyree Wilson, what I've noticed is that it's his coming off the ball, man. It's him not really exploding right away. He does a slow start, and then he starts building momentum, where guys are just watching the ball and ready to explode right from when that ball is hyped, you know. So I think he's going to learn from that. I think he's going to get pointers from the vets. I think he's going to continue to grow and get better. We are crossing our fingers that he becomes a monster like the other end, Max Crosby, but we're going to have to see, man. We're going to have to see how this is. The defense didn't allow a lot of points. There was opportunities for the Broncos to capitalize on some of our mistakes and put up points. But the problem is, when you need a defense, this defense needs to be, if you want to compete, it has to be able to compete to top tier offenses. Like, how are they going to do with the Chargers? Even though the Chargers lost today, are they going to be able to handle Eckler? Are they going to be able to? I mean, we've done it before. It seems like the Raiders and Chargers are always kind of neck and neck sometimes. But these are still elements that you want to have a win that's not going to make you, clench your butt cheeks here, so to speak. It could either be a close win or it could be an absolute blowout of us being blown out, because I've seen that before. The one team that we're going to be looking at, because guess who's coming back? Travis Kelce will be coming back for the Chiefs, and maybe he gets injured later on during the season because he's not fully healed or blah, blah, blah. But let's just say Travis Kelce is on the Chiefs. And yes, their wide receivers are trash. I had Sky Moore, garbage guy. A lot of talent, but it's Chiefs are still the team to beat, even though they lost. This is just one game. One game is not going to determine the whole season. You got to look at the long vision, the picture of it. And this defense is not going to be able to compete to Andy Reid's offense still, because there's a lot of things that they're still messing up. Miscommunication, not getting the ball off the ball like faster, not enough pressure in the pocket. Russell Wilson was able to once again kind of dance around, find his man, go outside the pocket. There was a couple tackles that were really clean, but then there was a couple missed tackles, especially with Javonte Williams. And oh my God, P. Ryan does his one run, which he should have been down for at least a 2-yarder, but then he gains like 15. So this is once again the Raiders' issue is the defense. And we're not going to go, I don't care how good the offense looks. The offense could keep us in games, but the defense is where we have to win games. And this defense went against the Broncos, which I had really not too much faith in. I don't think the Broncos are that great of a team, but we are going against heavy hitters, man. Like, what happens when we go against the Bills? Are we going to get run over by the Bills? Like, this is a team, this is a defense that needs to get better. It needs to get better. The problem is I don't think we have a lot of the pieces to be as competitive as we want to. I just think the pieces are just not there yet. These are players, and then we have rookies that are just not coming in their own yet. I think Josh McDaniels still is a terrible coach, and I'm going to go and move on to the offensive side where he's still making decisions, managing the game, the questionable play calling by goal line, not running the ball. This team still it's on the coach as well, on this mentality of the team, and we're still getting penalties. He's just not he's just it's just questioning him all the time, man. He just makes very bizarre moves. Taking Josh Jacobs out when you should have him in at this time. I don't know if Josh Jacobs is tired, this and that. I'm assuming he's not with some of these drives because he's in there ready to go. But then you switch him out with Zamir White. And I love me some Zamir White. He has speed, but at that moment, you need to keep going. I saw him try to establish the run. The run wasn't really there today, which I thought was a key element to winning this game. Obviously, we didn't really need that. We just had a decent production on the run game. When it mattered the most, when it came to the run, it was Jimmy Garoppolo getting those first downs and sealing the game at the end. I don't want to harp on Carr. I'm glad he won with the Saints. I'm not a Carr basher. He's a good man. He did a lot of good things for this organization when it comes to coming to be a stand-up guy and really held himself high. A nice class. You know, he was a class act with the Raider organization. But Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think he makes that first down. I think Jimmy actually really stride and really got that first down. There was a couple scary moments with Jimmy Garoppolo, especially getting hit late, like a little bit helmet to the shoulder, to the helmet. And he was kind of like wincing in pain, and then Hoyer had to come in. I honestly thought that, man, this a couple of key times with Jimmy, especially in pocket and getting hit a couple times in the pocket, that I was scared, man. Jimmy, I don't know if he's going to stay healthy all year. This is the biggest question for us Raider fans getting him is, yes, we know the talent he has, and yes, we saw that today, but will he be able to stay healthy when we have to go on those long stretches, when we have to win games? I don't think Hoyer should be the backup quarterback. I think we all agree Hoyer shouldn't be the backup quarterback if that were to happen. But with Jimmy, he looked good, man. He looked poised. He looked determined. He made some beautiful throws. He made some floater throws that I thought were going to be picked off, but we're just right, just the amount of right timing on those throws. There was a couple throws he could have hit on the chest that he went a little bit too high on. But it looks like he has great rapport with Jakobi Meyers. I don't know how Jakobi Meyers is going to be for the next game, but it looks like he has pretty good chemistry with Davante Adams as well. The one key member that he was there, but he wasn't getting any love, was Hunter Renfrow. This is going to be a very interesting case because I'm glad that the Raiders did keep Hunter Renfrow, because if Jakobi Meyers is out, we have to rely on Hunter Renfrow. This dude was a Pro Bowler. This dude is a fantastic talent. We keep talking about when Josh McDaniels came in that he was going to utilize Hunter Renfrow as like a Julian Edelman, a Tom Brady to the Julian Edelman. That could absolutely happen with Jimmy and Hunter Renfrow. I don't know if it's just the chemistry that's off between the two, and Jimmy just doesn't really want to look Hunter's way. Hunter was kind of covered throughout the game, but there is plays where there was one play, I believe, to Carter that was a dump screen pass. That should be a Hunter Renfrow play. He is able to grab the screen, wiggle his way to the first down. Third and Renfrow wasn't even on the field. So I think Hunter Renfrow is such a great player if utilized. So we're going to see if Jakobi Meyers does miss any playing time. If that's the case, I'm glad that we have Hunter Renfrow coming in because he can be a great element to win this game. But what I love about Jimmy's chemistry with a lot of the wide receivers, he was dumping it off to a lot of, he was making good reads. He was dumping it to the right man. Austin Hooper got involved as well, our new tight end a little bit. So there was some really good stuff with his offense. His offense looked really, really good, even though Josh Jacobs didn't get the production that he necessarily wanted, but he did get a couple good runs. And that's what you can rely on Josh Jacobs is he could really hammer home that hole and really kind of slip and get yardage that we absolutely need. But once again, the penalties are killing us. Jimmy did throw an INT. It was tipped. It was intercepted. Jimmy, you do not need to make that throw. So we have Carlson, one of the best kickers, probably the best kicker in the NFL. Raiders know how to pick him. It's just, so that was the one mistake that Jimmy did do. So, yeah, he was 20 for 26, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. But I hope that Jakobi Meyers, it's a quick recovery because we will need him in the future. But I do hope he is fine as well. So the offense, actually, I didn't have a problem with the offense. The only thing I had a problem with a couple of the call plays. That's Josh McDaniels' job. And just overall, there was a couple times, once again, that the Raiders could have scored more points than they should, and they didn't. But this is the first game, and hopefully this gets cleaned up the next game. Overall, this game was a very up and down kind of situation. The Broncos did have a chance to win this game. Actually, it should have been a tie game if their kicker Lutz doesn't miss the extra point. And Sean Payton brought him from New Orleans, the Saints, to his team, the Broncos, and he missed the crucial extra point. That's why every point matters, and every possession matters as well. So just going back and thinking about the Raider game and thinking about a lot of things that I did like. I mean, I am very happy. I'm super pleased that we came out with the victory. It was a very tight one. It could have went Broncos way very easily, especially with the refs calling kind of some dumb penalties, and then also, of course, Max Crosby being held and jerseys and all that stuff. But we're going against the refs. The refs are never too kind to the Raiders. So overall, it was a good first game for the Raiders to get their feet wet, to really taste that victory, that dub. It's just, now that we move on to the next game and to more of the season, the defense has to get better. They have to get better. I don't know if our defense is just dumb and they don't get Patrick Graham's philosophy, his playbook. They don't get what he's trying to do. They miss assignments, or what it is, if they have to dumb it down for this team. Because it seems like every year the Raiders defense, they have to be dumbed down because they can't figure out this complex defense. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. It's just the Raider culture. But if we are able to generate pressure, and we need more pressure, then the turnovers may come. The secondary, it is what it is. It's kind of a patchwork. You just kind of cross your fingers and hope that they're able to at least allow not a blowout, that at least they could hold them to 20 points, because I think the offense can come up and really kind of like sneak some wins in there, really rally and come back with some wins, because his defense right now, there's nothing that seems to have changed for me on this whole thing. So obviously the one thing I took away from this game was the defense is still shite. The offense is looking a lot smoother than last year. So Davante Adams, he's going to eat. He didn't eat as much today, but he will be getting the ball quite a bit, I'm assuming, in the next game. But as long as Jimmy is not making stupid mistakes like he did with that interception, and he's realizing that was his bad, and he knew it was his bad, and he's making really good, accurate, pinpoint floater throws too, and he continues to do work like that, in the next game, we do have a chance to maybe shock some people. But overall, this game was a good watch. It's a good Raider win. It feels good to be number one in a division, but this means absolutely nothing since this is the first game. Talk to me when we get to the end of December. So, thank you guys for listening. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to the channel. More Raider videos on the way, shorts, more news. I will talk about Jakobi Meyers and his injury later on and see what the impact is going to be for the next game. And I will preview the next game that the Raiders play. Until next time, let's go. We won. Big dub. Thank you guys for listening. The Raiders. I'm Danny Maggie, that's it.